What up, sexy world travelers? This is your boy, Big Sexy. This is the part of the show where we want to thank our big, sexy world travelers. Now, what makes a sexy world traveler a big, sexy world traveler, you ask? Well, big, sexy world travelers made their way over to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/big sexy digital nomad, or better yet, bullwiththebutthole.com, and became supporters of Big Sexy Digital Nomad. So we want to say thank you to Jesus, Galen Diggs, Smitty Scoop, Angel Quo, Bree, Chris and Lisa Lowry at gowithlisa.com, Sebastian Robbins, Margaret White, Lee Popsicle, and Joshua Tarr. And we want to send a very special thanks to the sponsors of our podcast, Billy and Larissa, over there at cruisehabit.com. To check out their site, go to cruisehabit.com/BSDN or cruisehabit.com/Big Sexy. If you too would like to be a big, sexy world traveler and support this podcast, swing on over to bullwiththebutthole.com. That will take you to our Patreon page, where for as low as $1 a month, you too can become a big, sexy world traveler and have your name read at the start of our show. We thank you all for listening. Safe travels.
Safe travel.
Now, you said you asked what for the word of the day?
Conky.
Conky, because it's not like you said honky. Like you asked a honky for the word of the day. Wife was reunited with Fox, who you may remember was left in Calais with a wonderful sinner. Again, shout out to Raquel. They took wonderful care of our little guy. She's a miracle worker, truly a gift sent from heaven. And Nilla got rerouted to a different way and had to go through a different thing because they have a drug sniffing dog rather, not a dog sniffing dog. But a drug sniffing dog, and that a dog would interrupt that.
I'm sure that dog can smell other dogs too. I got a new website to launch.
Talk about the new website.
Yeah.
If I wanted a taxi, just a direct taxi, that would take about 45 minutes to get here. They wanted $215 American dollars. Woo! So I was like, no, fuck you.
When I'm not listening to the Big Sexy Digital Nomad podcast, I'm sad. What helps? Cruising. My name is Bill and I run Cruise Habit, a YouTube channel and website about cruising. Sometimes I'm vacationing, sometimes I'm doing the digital nomad thing from a ship, but whenever possible, I am cruising, or at least talking about cruising. I've got tips, tours, and more information to make sure you take the right cruise for you. Check out the channel and site by visiting cruisehabit.com/BSDN. That's cruisehabit.com/BSDN.
What is going on? It's Judgmentalist here. This morning, I asked Conky what the magic word was, and it is new. That's right. I got a new website that just launched. Big Sexy's in a new city. He's in a new country. He's in a new Airbnb. I got 2 new players on NFL's 53-man rosters. There's probably even other new shit going on that we will talk to you about on this episode. So, hey, take it away, Big Sexy.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this is hitting your ear holes, I hope that it is good. I don't know if you can hear the echo, the reverb that I'm getting in this space, in this room. I don't know if it's coming through on the microphone or not. I'm in a co-working space at our Airbnb unit here in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, and I'm pretty sure we'll get into the travel from getting to from the UK to here. Now, you said you asked what for the word of the day?
Conky.
Conky, because it sounded like you said honky. Like you asked a honky for the word of the day.
No, the robot from Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse.
Conky. Oh wow, Conky.
I think that's the right person that gave the secret word, right?
I don't know if it was the Yeah, it had to have been the robot, right?
Yeah, person, whatever. No prep
whatever.
here. That was literally out of left field.
You pulled Conky right out of your ass. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
that was an amazing grab.
Yeah. So tell us about the new digs.
A lot new. So where to begin? So let's start at the beginning, where we last left off. We were in the United Kingdom at St. Leonard's on the Sea. We recorded, I think, the day before we were getting ready to do our big travel journey. We had to record the day before because we left our Airbnb in England at like 5 in the morning, or like 4:30 in the morning, dragging our luggage through the streets of St. Leonard on the Sea to the train station, where we boarded a train from St. Leonard to Ashford International. Then we waited a little bit and then boarded another train from Ashford International to Dover Priory. We got off from the Dover Priory and then took a taxi from Dover Priory to the Dover ferry port, where we then boarded the P&O ferries and crossed the English Channel from Dover back to Calais, France. It was a really fun moment when the wife was reunited with Fox. There's a video of that on our Patreon. And if you want to see that, just swing over to bullwiththebutthole.com. Patreon there, and you can see the video of this travel. Wife was reunited with Fox, who, as you may remember, was left in Calais with the wonderful sinner. Again, shout out to Raquel Reyes, I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, and Edward. They took wonderful care of our little guy and aided us in so many different ways. She's a miracle worker, truly a gift sent from heaven. And so we went to the vet that her vet, to get the health certificate from Mexico for Fox. And we got there, and the vet told us that they didn't do that. The Mexican health certificate requires it to be typewritten, not handwritten. And the only health certificates they do are handwritten. So then we panicked, and we're like, well, okay. So luckily we went there early, right? Because our appointment was at 4, but we're like, we're here at 1:30, so let's just go 1:30. So we get there, it doesn't work, and it's a overcast, rainy English day, or French day, I guess. Northern French day.
Odds are pretty good that it was also overcast in England, but yes.
It absolutely was, 100% was. It felt just like where we had come from. And so we get on the bus, and we take the bus to the other vet where we had gotten his British health certificate before. And we're like, well, maybe they can do the Mexico one as well. We kind of know the cost, and we know what the procedure, whatever. And we get over there, and they say they can't do it. They don't have the ability.
Let's rewind.
Mm-hmm.
You had an appointment at a place that presumably knew what the appointment was for before you got there when you said it.
Correct.
And don't tell you until you get there. Oh, like I understand it with the second place because you just kind of showed up there without an appointment because you had to.
Right.
But the first place knew you were coming for a thing.
And knew what the thing was. Because our sitter set it up. She speaks French. So she set it up with what we needed and whatever. So we get there, and they're like, no, we can't do it with the regulations. They weren't sure how to do it, whatever. And the vet, the receptionist was lovely. The vet was very French. Very French bureaucratically, in one of the worst kind of ways. She's like, you need to call the Mexican embassy. Like, what? They're not going to care about my dog. I need to call the Mexican. So we're like, whatever. So we go to the next vet, and they can't do it whatsoever. So now we're kind of in panic mode. You know, wife is having a mild anxiety attack. It's nerve wracking. So I reach out to the sitter. We'll take a bus, we'll get to our Airbnb, we'll resettle and figure out what we're gonna do. So I messaged the sitter like, "Hey, can you come pick us up?" The second vet we went to can't do it either. So she's like, "Yeah, I'll be right there." So she comes, picks us up. While we're waiting in the car, she calls 2 other vets and finds one that absolutely 100% can do the Mexican health certificate, and makes an appointment for us at 9:15 in the morning, the next morning, and then proceeds to take us to our Airbnb.
What color was her cape?
I tell you what, it should be purple with a big.
She wasn't wearing one?
No, I tell you, it's invisible.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. Not all heroes wear capes.
Not all heroes wear capes. Not all angels have wings.
Yeah.
She took us to our Airbnb. We checked it. Great Airbnb, was really nice, really clean. The host pretended that he lived there. He did not. He may stay there from time to time to check in, because I'm pretty sure that they have regulations on Airbnb where you have to, the host has to live in the unit. So he made a show of like, "Yeah, I'm working late. I don't know when I'll be in, da 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 da." Look, the only place to sleep in this place is up a rickety set of stairs and in the door. Didn't nobody come home that night. I'm up late anyway. Nobody came home that night, which is fine. It's fine. We're only there for one night. Our angel swings by and picks us up in the morning. Our angel's husband, Edward, shout out to Edward, takes us to the vet, and apparently the appointment was made for the next day, but they can take a walk in about a couple of hours. So we went back to their house, hung out, chatted, had some tea, they had some coffee, they smoked a little bit of weed, just chilling, hanging out, killing time. Took us back to the vet. Then the vet, like, boom, 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 done, easy peasy, no problem whatsoever. Got the paperwork needed, sigh of relief. We went back, picked up Raquel, went to right near where we stayed when we were in Calais, right near the Holiday Inn where we stayed, to take them to brunch. Had a lovely brunch. Met this dude named Bob, one of their friends, and we're like, we were gonna buy you brunch. We're not buying Bob's brunch, like. And Raquel, no, he'll take care of his own, whatever. I said, yeah, we're only on a budget, and this was like a high end place. Like they were getting steak tartare and steak and sirloin. And like, we can't afford all that madness. So, but we took care of theirs, and then Edward drove us to the train station where we continued our journey. So we took a train from Calais, France, through the French countryside to Nord, France. And then from Nord, France, we took another train. How do we get to Orly? Yeah, I think we took another train to the airport, to Orly. Yeah, one train to Gare du Nord, and then the metro. We took the metro to Orly. And then we got to Orly, and we flew from Paris, Orly, back to Malaga. And then in Malaga, went back to Torremolinos, stayed in the Airbnb overnight. Again, shout out to Julia and her boyfriend, partner, George, I think his name was. Lovely place, wonderful, incredibly sexy Airbnb host. Spain always has the sexiest Airbnb host. I'll tell you what, it's amazing. Really wishing they were going to stay and hang out, but we didn't have time. We had to get to sleep or whatever. Really lovely. the kind of place where like it was so good. Like if we were going back to Torremolinos and needed a place, it would definitely be on one of the top of the list of a place to stay. Got up early in the morning, took an Uber to the center of Torremolinos, picked up our luggage from our friends Emma and Gianni. Shout out to Emma and Gianni holding our shit. We appreciate that so very much. Met our friend Jaina, who's a friend of the podcast, and then walked near the train station and started going through our bunch of bags to consolidate, sort of. We had to get rid of one of the suitcases because one of the suitcases had ripped and got a hole and was all puckered up. Luckily, we still had one of those big blue travel bags.
Mm-hmm.
So we took everything out, filled that up, trying to, make some decision on what to keep, what to throw away for weight purposes. We threw away my lantern, and that's going to matter in just a moment. But we got rid of a bunch of stuff, gave some stuff to Jaina, and then we went to try to catch the train and had just missed the train to the train station from Torremolinos. So we're like, fuck it, let's go get it. So we went and got a cab, took a cab from Torremolinos to Maria Zambrana, the train station, where we boarded the train from Malaga to Madrid, and then took the train to Madrid, hung out too long in the Madrid train station before catching the we thought we could catch a metro from the Madrid station to the airport, but it was so confusing on what train to take and which way to go, and we got directed the wrong way by a person who worked there. Like told us to go down to one side, and then nothing on the signage said airport. Couldn't figure out which train to take. So I asked somebody which train to take. If they don't, on the other track, and we couldn't figure out how to get down to the other track. I go up and I see some police officers. So I say, which train line goes to the airport? And they point me to a bus. And they said, that bus is an airport express. It costs €5. And it'll take you directly to the airport. Perfect. Now, we'd already burned, €12.50 buying metro tickets.
Yeah.
But whatever. We now have €12.50 metro tickets if you need to ride the metro Madrid.
You're gonna burn a lot more if you don't catch that flight, huh?
You got that right. So we take the bus to the airport. We get to the airport. We go through the check-in line. Everything's fine. We check a bag. We check 3 bags. We have 3 bags to check. Goes through fine. Check the doc's paperwork. Everything's fine. And we board the plane. Finally, we're on the plane. And it's a lovely plane. It is the kind that has, we had the entire conversation last episode about, do you like aisle, middle, or window, whatever.
Yeah.
And the kind of plane that I love, the sides were just 2 seats and 4 in the middle. And we were on the side. So my wife had the window and I had the aisle. Mwah.
Beautiful.
Perfect. So we flew 10-hour flight direct from Madrid to Cancun, where we got off the plane in Cancun. I sent you all those pictures of all those fuckers crowding the baggage claim area.
They crowded that thing so badly that when you first sent them to me, I'm like, what the fuck are you trying to show me here? Because there was no indication that was a baggage claim until you told me that was that bad.
It was just a crowd of people. It looked like just a crowd of people. Like I could barely see the baggage claim, the carousel through the people. Turns out it didn't matter if I could see them or not. It took 2 hours for our luggage to finally come out, all our luggage to finally come out of the baggage claim. They came, like, it was like a pack of 3, like a set of 3 came out and some people kind of cleared out and got theirs. Then it was quiet for a long time, and then another big set and a lot of people cleared out. And then there was maybe like 15 people left waiting for their luggage. And like we were the last 3 or 4 people to finally get all of our bags out. 2.5 hours at that baggage claim waiting for our luggage to come out. We landed at 6:30. We're like, cool. We land at 6:30. We get our baggage. We go through customs, the long line at customs. And the medical health certificate that we got for Fox was required to get him on the airplane, but not by Mexico. While we're waiting for the baggage claim, my wife took the dog because he had to go check the dog with the Mexican authorities. But because he's an American dog and a service animal in America, they didn't give a shit. We didn't need his passport. We didn't need the health certificate. Like, he's an American dog, I'll give me your passport, doom, done, bye. We spent all that madness.
I will say, from my recent experiences, that, and obviously I can't speak for the entire world, and you may have differing opinions for some of the countries that you've entered into, but my most recent, knock on wood, experiences traveling through customs has been substantially easier than 3-4 years ago and prior.
Yeah, so every time we go through customs, there's been zero problems. Customs has been pretty easy. The longest we've ever been held up in customs, other than the line to get through customs, was once in Charles de Gaulle. Both times I think in Charles de Gaulle. Once coming through, because we had the puppy with us, and Nilla got rerouted to a different way and had to go through a different thing because they have a drug sniffing dog rather, not a dog sniffing dog, but a drug sniffing dog, and that a dog would interrupt that.
I'm sure that dog can smell other dogs too.
I'm positive, yes, but that's not his sole purpose. And well, he might. One of his main goals might be to sniff the dog's butt, and they kind of have to prevent that from happening. And so I had to go through with all the luggage without her. She met me another place. And then there's another airport where her passport, I think it was in Switzerland, when her passport wouldn't scan because it's an older passport. And one more time coming back from Romania, because we did that extra day in England, the passport agent took a lot of time doing the travel math to make sure we weren't in violation of the 90-day rule.
Right.
Which, my credit to my wife, where credit is due, she makes sure we are fine and on point for all of that. But getting through the Mexican custom was easy peasy. They didn't care about the dog. They didn't check anything. We spent a lot of money, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of heartache because an airport said that we needed it even though we didn't.
I've definitely experienced, I can't recall exactly what, prepping and having documents. And I know that this was like either going into or leaving Egypt or something, that it was kind of like that you didn't want that thing that I felt like was so important when somebody made me sign up for it. Probably my e-visa to get into Egypt. Okay,
right.
fuck you.
Right.
Now
why do everything say I need to have this and nobody gives a fuck about it?
Some of that, I believe, as far as like that e-visa is concerned, is because everything seems to be like digitally mapped. Like they do like the scan your face and now they know who you are. So that's probably out there in the ether associated with you. So you don't necessarily need the piece of paper because you're tagged with it. But I don't know. This shit's above my pay grade and I don't care. So
exactly.
Just let me in, let me out.
Yeah. So we arrived at Cancun. And it's hot, and it was hot in Spain. Like coming from the UK and France where it was cooler, and went out and about. When we got to Spain, like, oh fuck, Spain's hot. And then we got to Cancun, and Cancun was really hot and muggy. Like when I walked out of the airport, my glasses instantly fogged up, and I couldn't see. And we're looking for a taxi or something to take a taxi to come to Playa del Carmen. Those motherfuckers wanted for a 3.5 hour drive to a place that was 45 minutes away, wanted $75 American to take us from Cancun to Playa del Carmen. If I wanted the taxi, just a direct taxi, that would take about 45 minutes to get here, they wanted 215 American dollars.
Woo.
So I was like, no, fuck you. No, we're not doing that. So we're looking for alternative modes of transportation. There is no Uber. There is no Bolt here in Mexico, right? There's no pickup for those places at the airport. They don't really exist here. So then wife is looking at the bus, and the bus was inexpensive to get us there, right? So we finally decided we're going to have to take the bus. The taxi drivers kept coming back like, we can do it for $100. How about we do it for $90? Like, stop. No, you're not nickel and dime me. The fact that it can be adjusted from 215 to 100 to 90 means you can go as low as you want to. You're just trying to gouge me because it's Cancun and it's a touristy.
Yeah.
And you're saying the airport charges is bullshit. The airport doesn't make you charge that at all whatsoever. You know, fuck you, Mexico. It's the haggling. The reason why I hate getting off the ship whenever we port in Ensenada and we go shopping. I just hate the fucking haggle.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it is here. Like we've been told, like if you're going to get a taxi from this area where we're in now, Playa del Carmen, make sure you get it like a few blocks away from the famous Fifth Avenue because it'll cost you less than if you get it right on Fifth Avenue. They're going to charge you more. Like just the fact that can happen is fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's and that's normal. Like when you go, there have been a couple of times that we have booked all inclusives in a variety of countries, and in with those we pre-book, and a lot of this is done through our travel agent. So shout out to whoever your travel agent is, because you should always be booking this type of stuff through a travel agent if you're going on vacation or whatnot, because they can iron all this shit out for you. We've included the airport transfers, and they're very distinct in you will go from here to there. Don't talk to anybody else because somebody's going to try to get you to go with them. You've already paid for this, so don't pay somebody else for it, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Because a lot of them, when you're doing it with like a travel and a resort, you know, resort company X has a shuttle bus. You paid a little extra for it sometimes. Sometimes it's included in the price. It really varies. But you're not necessarily getting, unless you paid extra for it, a private transport. You're going to be on a bus with like 6 other people that flew in around the same time that you did and are going to the same destination you did. I even did one, I don't remember exactly where it was, where that bus shuttled to like 3 different resorts that were like right beside each other. So they would rotate through the 3 resorts or whatever it was. And, you know, but you know, they're very, very much like, you know, once you're done with baggage claim, take a left, go this far, you'll see this sign, take a right, and walk past all of the, you know, the shenanigans that you're talking about and get to these people. This is what you're looking for, because you will be intercepted. Somebody will say, oh, I'm your driver. Come over here. Hey, I need an extra $60. Something happened, whatever it might be.
Right.
So don't get got.
Yeah, be careful about getting got. Don't get got when coming to foreign countries. Pay attention. And yeah, it was. So we took the bus. You know, what my PSA to travelers coming, especially to Mexico, if you can, plan your trip away from the airport ahead of time. Book one of those speedy shuttles or whatever, wherever you're going. It'll be much cheaper. Just book it ahead of time so there's somebody out there waiting with your name on a little whiteboard, ready to pick you up with all your baggage and take you where you need to go at a prepaid price that you've already agreed on, instead of trying to do it in the moment, which, you know, we live and learn, right? We didn't know ahead of time, so we didn't plan ahead of time, and we almost paid the cost, which was, not fair. There's a little mini market outside of the airport. This is how fucking they get you in every single way.
Yeah.
This mini market, and I'm doing air quotes, sold bottles of water, but only in a 6-pack. And it was like $20 for a 6-pack of 1 liter bottles of water. Like, go fuck yourself. But again, it's hot as shit. They'll force you to buy this bulk, and they'll charge you an arm and a leg for it. They don't sell the bottles individually. Nothing's refrigerated. It was just madness. The good news is we finally get on this bus and we make it to the bus terminal in Playa del Carmen. We exit the bus and we're looking. We see a taxi stand. We're like, okay, fuck it. I guess we got to take a taxi. So we hop in a taxi. And again, only because we have all this luggage, I'm not trying to drag this luggage. It's a 17-minute walk, and I'm not trying to drag this luggage 17 minutes, from this bus terminal all the way to our Airbnb. And by now, it's like 11-something at night. So we get in a taxi. They, of course, gouge us. It's like $20 to get to do a 17-minute walk, which should have been like a $5 taxi ride. Cost us $20. And we're pissed about it. But we get to our Airbnb, and the Airbnb is fucking mwah. It's gorgeous. The staff here are so helpful, lovely. Shout out to the entire Marilla staff team. They're amazing. The only caveat we have about this Airbnb is the Wi-Fi in our unit is shit.
Which is certainly problematic as a digital nomad. Exactly,
yeah. Doing a speed test on the Wi-Fi, it never got over 1 gigabyte upload or download. Right, like here or megapixel, whatever they measure that shit in. Megabyte.
That's worse than the one that I had in Oregon.
Yeah, when down here, the download is 180 and the upload's 58. So the Wi-Fi down here is perfect. So I know it's not the building, it's not the country, it's the Airbnb bought the cheapest internet package they probably could. So, they say they guarantee Wi-Fi, they don't guarantee high-speed Wi-Fi. So we love this building. We're hoping to find another place to rent here in this building with high-speed Wi-Fi. Because it's amazing. There's an infinity pool on top of this building that has a view.
Yeah, I've seen those pictures.
And you can see Cozumel across the sea, which is phenomenal. It's just fucking gorgeous. If you're on our social media, you've seen me post those pictures. If you want to see the videos and stuff like that, again, swing on over to bullwiththebutthole.com. Join Patreon. You can see those videos. I put together a video of our travels, and I put together a slideshow of our travels for our Patreon subscribers. Take a look at those. Those are up there. Yeah, we've been here for a week. They have Wine Wednesdays here, which we went to last night. Shout out to all the people that I met at Wine Wednesdays last night. That'd be Chimdi, Ada, Cecilio, and Lena and Irina. Met them. Going to interview Ada later this evening. She's leaving for Guatemala on Sunday, which is my birthday. This is my birthday, pre-birthday episode.
So I was going to secure our spot as the #1 time travel podcast by wishing you a belated happy birthday, because the time that we're doing this, it's early, but at the time that we're airing this, it's late. And I figured what better episode to do it than the one where the secret word is new than to usher in a new year of your life.
Yes, yeah.
But you beat me to the punch.
Well, I just reminded because, as I haven't paid a whole lot of attention to my upcoming birthday, which is unlike me. I like to do things big, whatever, but I figured there was so much happening, so many plans happening that it was just a lot to deal with that on top of everything.
Which that probably makes I'm pretty sure that the closing on our house was September 1st. So that's the 2-year anniversary of us owning
Yeah.
the house that I lived in. Now, we didn't move in until October of that year, but we closed on the house on September 1st, if my recollection is accurate.
Right. Right.
It's also the 30th, tomorrow, at the time of recording, or last week, Friday, is my wedding anniversary.
Oh, happy early belated wedding anniversary.
That's right. I told you that. Have I told that story on here?
I don't believe you have.
Yeah,
Well,
we
maybe
got
you have.
married. We got married on the high roller.
Yes, you did tell that story. Yes.
Yeah, with the random
With the random
run-in.
couple, the random groups that were in there with you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fun times, good times, great oldies.
Speaking of oldies, I went to see Incubus, which isn't technically an oldie, but when I got in that room, it felt like it was an oldie. I saw Incubus live in concert Tuesday night at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. And I took my daughter, who's 16, and on the drive up there, I'm like, hey, you want to know how old I am? She's like, well, I know how old you are. And I'm like, no. The first time I saw Incubus in concert was 2001. First time I saw Coheed and Cambria, who was the opening act, was 2005, if I remember
Oh, man, I
correctly.
love Coheed and Cambria.
Yeah. It's funny. I'll have to post this clip somewhere, probably on our Patreon. But, like, there's a part, I kind of had this, like, realization, because you know how when, bands who have very, very well-known songs will get to a certain part in the song and just let the audience sing it.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, and I have video of this moment in the song, when is the last time that Claudio, the guitarist and lead singer from Coheed and Cambria, actually vocalized the words "Good Eye Sniper"?
Right.
He's probably not said that in 20 years out loud vocally, at least in the context of an audience, unless they've, remastered or re-recorded something, and then of course the audience isn't there to sing it for him. But like, it's kind of like one of those moments. And because I've purchased tickets at events, and I have from time to time had season tickets for the Flyers and everything over the years, I am still somehow on an email list to get pre-sale opportunities for events. So when I saw this one, which was probably like 6 or 8 months ago, I jumped on it immediately. So we were able to have front row tickets.
Oh, nice.
And nothing beats it. Like, especially because the setup is such that it wasn't open floor. It was seating on the floor.
Okay.
So there was no mosh pit. There were no people pushing into us. There was none of that. It was just us right up front. The only thing that you're going to catch in any of the photos or videos are the security people on front of the gate, or if I'm at an angle, other people that were also in the front row, their hands in their videos. And it was, to say the least, exceptional. I mean,
that sounds phenomenal.
Obviously, both of these bands have been doing what they do for quite some time. And
did your daughter enjoy it?
Yeah, she absolutely loved it. That's the break-even point. When you have kids, and this is not a financial statement, but in the everything you do for somebody, it really doesn't start to pay you back until they get to an age where they want to start doing shit that you want to do.
Right.
And for me, we've gotten to that point now. I think I mentioned
was it just you and her?
Just me and her. I think I mentioned a couple years ago, maybe it was before we even started this podcast. I got to go see, I didn't even know that they were going back on tour or existed as a band before, but Rage Against the Machine a couple years back. Now, something that happened with her mother jacked up her ability to go to that concert. but I sure as hell went. But yeah, that was really where, hey Dad, can we go to this? I'm like, how do you know that exists? And yeah, and yes. So
that's awesome.
It was great.
That's awesome, man. Taking I can imagine taking your child to a concert you would want to go to with or without them. Has to be an amazing feeling that they're interested in going.
Yeah. It's sure. Yeah. No doubt about it. None whatsoever. So yeah, that was great. And obviously I got, she as I'm going to sound like an old man shaking my fist at clouds here. She took some amazing pictures. I took a couple of good ones, and but the ones that she, because she knows how to use all the settings and crap on her phone.
Right. She can add those kind of filters, and
she probably also has an iPhone that's 2 or 3 generations newer than mine. So, it's better in all of those regards. Plus, she knows how to use it. But I got some really great videos, and one of them I actually have posted on my Judgmentalist TikTok channel, which is really cool because, they're not just a normal rock band. They're very diverse in everything. So like there's a song, if anybody's listening to this and actually familiar, the tour was, they're running through the revamped album Morning View. So they run through that in its entirety, and then they play a second set basically of some of the the long-standing hits. So when they closed out, because they run the album in order, so they closed out Morning View with Aqueous Transmission, and there's a mandolin and all this other cool ass stuff. So it was really a badass experience all across the board.
That's amazing. How far away? How long was the road trip to get there?
Less than an hour.
Oh, that's even better.
I mean, I could if I were to go at a time, and I don't know that this time exists, but if there were a time where there was no Philly traffic and no stadium traffic, and I were going to the stadium, let's say 11 a.m. on a holiday Monday.
Okay.
And I'm going there to talk to somebody, let's say about booking a gig or something. I'm just trying to paint a scenario for why I'd be driving to this place.
Right.
No, nobody's giving it to me. Nobody gave me the thing. It would take me 45 minutes to get there.
Okay.
So that's, I've never gotten there in 45 minutes because that scenario I just described has never entered itself into.
Oh, never will.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say not that I would have any. Number one, not that I would necessarily have any interest in playing a venue like that. And if I were at a level where I were performing at a level like that, I'm not the one going ahead of time to scope out.
Yeah, you're not booking the venue. Right. Exactly.
Somebody else is handling all that for me. So.
And by that time, you're not even driving there. You have drivers.
Well, I mean, the only scenario in which I would ever perform venues of that size that I can imagine would be if I were to get linked up with a band like an Incubus or a Coheed and Cambria to be an opening act, because they do stuff like that. Like Puddles. Right. Puddles apparently is on tour right now, opening for somebody who I'm blanking on right now. Primus. That's what it is.
Oh, wow.
I got there. Yeah. Yeah, that's another like, speaking of oldies, and these people are still playing music. Yes, Primus is on that list. Fucking Metallica is still playing. Like, and apparently I haven't gotten to any of these shows, although I'd love to, but they're apparently performing at as high of a level as they've ever performed at.
I can imagine. I've been doing it forever, so once you know how it's done, you just do it.
But sometimes you get old, you know what I mean?
True.
And like life sets in. Yeah,
but old rockers still rock,
Apparently.
Rolling Stones still going strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I've heard some people can tell that, that like, Mick's lost a step or something.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the dude's in his 90s or whatever, how old the fuck old he is. You know what I mean? So it's he still got it, but it ain't what it was.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Which is fucking fine. Like, I'm happy the old rockers and new rockers get the chance to still do it and make magic happen.
Exactly.
Did your daughter want any merch? Did you get any good old fashioned concert T-shirts?
Oh yeah, and you know what they're selling concert T-shirts for right now?
I'd imagine like $50.
So there was and I don't understand the economics of doing this because you can't really. I mean, maybe after industry-wise, they can tell you with some near certainty how many of something they're going to sell. But there was not only tour-specific T-shirts, but there was a Philadelphia specific, and they were only playing one night.
Oh wow!
T-shirt.
Wow.
So she got that. That was $45. I got a different T-shirt, which if I were to try to explain it, it would make no sense to anybody that's not a hardcore Incubus fan. That cost me $60.
Jesus, you spent $105 on 2 shirts.
Yeah, and then I for whatever reason felt, actually I can show this on the thing. I felt the need to purchase the translucent purple vinyl exclusive to the tour Incubus Morning View 23 album. Because I'm not one of those like big crazy I'm collecting vinyl now that it's coming back, but I have plenty of them and I love it. And I get what I want when I see something, and there are still a few albums that are out there on my I'd love to find this on vinyl list, but I don't.
Yeah, let me tell you, the Prince fan, the fact they keep releasing all this special edition vinyl on his website, anniversary discs and splattered purple discs and translucent copies. I'm glad I'm a digital nomad and traveling, and that kind of prevents me from buying shit like that, because otherwise that's where my paychecks would be going to, is just buying those kind of this and setting them up in my already 2 full bookshelves, to sit there and say, yeah, look cool, look what I got. My dreams of having those, those glass picture frames where you put a record inside that whatever. I dreamed of having a giant office with just wall to wall of those with special limited edition Prince vinyl, but I at this point do not and will not have that.
Well, I mean, obviously as you're traveling, it makes no sense, but
yeah, if I ever touch down or decide to buy property in some location, I'm definitely gonna, if I have that kind of money, stock that shit up.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us about these as we near the end of the podcast. Tell us about the new football stars.
So yeah, from this year's draft, I've got 2 new players who have made. We'll be very brief in this because I know that we probably don't have an audience that's got a hard on for sports ball, so I'll keep it under 5 here. 2 of my players are officially on what's called the 53-man roster. That is the official. We've made all of the cuts from all of the guys that were in training camp. So I've got a tight end in Tennessee, yeah, girl, and a defensive tackle in Minnesota for the Vikings, and a whole litany of other guys that have made what's called the practice squad, which basically they're only allowed to have 53 people on the active roster. And for injuries, they need to have, it may have changed. It used to be 18, 16, depending on which year during COVID. It may have gone back down to 12 or 14. But they've got a group of guys that are not on the main roster, but they are part of the team. They practice with the team. They learn the playbook. That way, if somebody gets injured, they're the next person up, and they actually don't have to start from scratch. Although it does, some of those guys, like I've got a guy that is in Green Bay on the practice squad, that their wide receiver depth is so strong that he might be better than some of the players on other teams. So he could potentially get snagged from that practice squad and yanked to another squad within a couple of weeks in the season. We'll see. So, yeah, that's cool stuff. I will leave it at that. And if anybody wants, I will say one of the players, if somebody happens to have a connection with anybody in marketing and promotions for those Takis chips.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? Like the spicy
Yeah.
chip things. Connect them with me, because the guy that I represent in Minnesota on the Vikings, his name is Taki. So it would be perfect to line up some sort of a deal with him. Why not? It would make perfect sense. He's not he's a defensive lineman, so it's not like he's, the quarterback or a running back or a wide receiver or a big flashy name. He'll never be a big flashy name, no matter how long he stays in the league, no matter how well he plays. Those are not the limelight guys, but it makes a ton of sense to link them up, and maybe you just sell a bunch more chips in Minnesota because of it.
There you go. So listeners, if you have any connections, or if you're, bored and want to just do a Google search to find the marketing team for Takis, send it our way. So go ahead and send us an email over at bigsexynomad@gmail.com. And just shoot us an email with that information, and we will do the due diligence and see if we can connect and make magic happen.
Yeah, love
That'd
it.
be awesome. Yeah, man. So we got the new locations, new concert experience.
Yeah.
Right. New beach. I'm 5 minutes away from the beach here.
Nice.
From door to sand. Depending on how long the elevator takes. And then you got the new players on rosters actually playing.
I got a new website that launched.
Talk about the new website.
Yeah. So I put it in the chat for anybody who's here in the live, which I think shows up in the comments on YouTube, but I'm not 100% sure how all that works. But as many of you know, I target nonprofit school groups, other charitable causes to do fundraiser shows and work with them, usually in situations that are no risk to them. And those are just ones where, the show is the fundraiser and we're doing some sort of a split of ticket sales. I'm also available if somebody wants to slot me into an existing event as the entertainment to work off a flat fee. If you've got an established event, that's far more cost effective for you to just pay me to show up and not give me a percentage of the ticket sales. Everything's on the table. So uniquefundraiserideas.com just soft launched today. It took me close to a year to take the company that has been turning it out substantially for my law practice and that website, to agree to do this special project for me, because they pretty much exclusively deal with law firms. So it took a lot of work. I trust them. They've done a great job with my website. So I've shared that link in the chat. I would appreciate it. I don't care where you are. I don't care what you do. I don't care who you think you are or are not connected to, but it would mean a lot to me if you would share that website link on whatever social networks you have, because you never know who's going to see it. You never know who might know somebody who is in fundraising for a group or a nonprofit, or coaches a team, or is a parent of somebody in a marching band that needs to raise money for new uniforms, or any of the myriad of other types of causes that I've already done shows for. They may see that and be like, ooh, let me check this out. I'd like to think, and again, I'm looking at this through my eyes, I'd like to think that the website speaks for itself, and there's a ton of information that gives people what they need to feel confident in contacting me about picking dates and taking the next steps. So, I don't care if it's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever it is, you've got a different sphere of influence than I do. It would mean a lot to me to throw that out there every so often. And one of the things that's going to be popping up on there, again, website's brand new, so there's a lot of stuff that's going to be added to it over time. I will be doing reports on the success of fundraisers as they happen on the blog page. So there's going to be not only just a list of some of the organizations that we work with as we add to it, but also kind of a breakdown of, hey, we did this show for this cause to help them do whatever. This is how it went. It's another place to link in the videos of the hypnosis shows that are for sale that continue to benefit those causes. So for people that didn't make the event and want to still throw a couple bucks that way, They can buy the videos. You guys have, everybody listening's probably heard the spiel in one way, shape, or form. So, and of course, shout out like the, I know for a fact that I'm not just speaking into the ether here, because I've already done a show for Smitty Scoop and an organization that's close to him and his community. And that, I think, this is pretty much the only place that I've talked about doing these kind of things. So he had to have heard from it here. So I've thanked him before. I'll thank him again. And be like Smitty. Doesn't matter where it is. We can make arrangements to make it work. Whether it's me doing a solo show, myself and Bernardo, or if you, the other idea that popped into my head, not that I'm trying to cut my stage partner out, because I'm certainly not, but if there's ever a scenario where logistically it doesn't work out, or let's say you're a magician or other entertainer that wants to do a set, 10, 20, 30 minutes, and then take an intermission and then have me do my hypnosis show, all of it's on the table. Any of that is flexible. And if you're, that's kind of the thing. So love it.
Nice. Well, so the link, if you're watching the video, if you're on our watching the video feed, the video is unique. The website is uniquefundraiserideas.com. Share that on your social medias. Check that out. Be sure to click. If you have those ideas, hit them up. Then make that magic happen. I'd like to send a personal thank you right now to Sebastian Robbins, who shot us a message in Patreon, congratulating us on episode 100. He wrote, "Congrats on being too legit to quit. Episode 100 was stellar." So big thanks to Sebastian Robbins. We appreciate that love. I'll tell you what, episode 100 was pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I want to give another shout out to our guest, Sarah Lowe, and the surprise guest, the Puppet Master, for making our episode 100 pretty epic. I'm going to be releasing some bonus footage from that because we hit record a bit early and there was a lot of conversation prior to the start of the episode. So I'm going to chop that up and put that in a nice little video. I created a montage of cover artwork and artwork for the podcast over the song of Where in the World is Big Sexy, that was generated by an AI format, but words written by yours truly and prompt done by Judgmentalist. So it was really a team effort. The fact that we both wrote a song with AI, which is pretty awesome.
We need to figure out how to get, and I know there's a way to do it because people do it all the time. There are people that are actually deriving revenue from writing AI songs and putting them onto Spotify. But I'd love to get that song legitimately onto Spotify, not so much for the financial aspect of it, which would be great, but more so because I am putting together a pre-show house music list,
okay,
like a playlist to have playing, when I'm doing shows somewhere, to just pump Spotify instead of hoping that the venue has music to play in the, while everybody's filing in or whatever. And I'd love that to be included in there because why not? People don't even know the songs, and maybe they subconsciously will find our podcast through it. Who knows?
Well, I tell you what, give it about 20 minutes after we end this episode, and it'll be on Spotify.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, I'll pop it up on there as it'll be a bonus for Big Sexy Digital Nomad. It'll pop up under our
is that
podcast
the best
feed.
Is that the best way to do it?
I don't know. I'll research the best way to do it. I don't know how to add a song otherwise. Well, we're on Spotify for podcasters. There was another way to upload stuff on Spotify prior to Spotify for podcasters.
I think there's a way to do it as just a music artist.
Yeah.
And you'll get royalties for the plays. It's peanuts. Like you got to do
it's signed.
Yeah. You got it's like a penny for every 10,000 plays. So it's not like you're actually doing this to make money, but
yeah.
who knows? I mean, that might be the new song that we want you to play on repeat for your dogs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I have time. So what I'll do is I'll research how to upload a song and I'll upload that. I'll also start. What I also want to do is I want to toy around with my parody songs.
Yeah.
Right. If I do, and again, I don't know the logistics of it, the legalese of it, you know, the artistic endeavor of it. But if I do a prompt of you use these lyrics in a song in the style of this song, if it'll come out the way I think it will, and if that's a way to get around having to record me singing every single one, because while I like the sound of my voice, not all of my songs are in my range.
Right.
So if I can figure that out, it'd be a decent way to create that parody album, you know, an AI generated parody album with my lyrics in the style of those other songs. So I'm not just doing the karaoke track of those other songs. So I'll toy with that and check that out. If any of our listeners have an idea of what that is, let me know. I'd appreciate that. Any information that you can help me out with that, just shoot me a message. Either hit me up on my social medias at bigsexynomad on Instagram or whatever, or Twitter, and hit us up or shoot me an email. Right, either way. Yeah, and we will of course want to say a big thanks to our all our Patreon supporters. I recorded if you're hearing this, I recorded a list already, pre-recorded list. So you saw the thank you to the Patreon supporters. So if you want to join the community, swing on over to patreon.com/Big Sexy Digital Nomad, or better yet, just go to bullwiththebutthole.com and sign up there to subscribe to our Patreon. You get bonus material. I've already started. I promised it. After episode 100, I'll start popping up bonus material for our paid members on our Patreon. Started with our trip from the UK to Mexico. My goal is at least once a week to pop up new extra bonus material other than the bonus episodes and the interviews and our regular episode, to include at least one extra bonus video or song or something for our Patreon subscribers, so that there's value in it. And depending on the level of whatever I'm putting up there, will also may determine on what tier it gets access to it.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, but guys, thanks for listening. Anything you need to promote coming up?
Well, last night I did a preview show for the Rochester Fringe Festival, so hopefully that went well. And come see me in Rochester on the 11th, 14th, or 15th. One show September 11th, 2 on the 14th, 2 on the 15th. RochesterFringe.com. Look for Court of the Mind or Judgmentalists.
Yeah, and thank you guys all for the birthday wishes. I appreciate all of them, which is very weird to be saying before my birthday, but I know by the time I've heard those, I will have got those. So sincerely, thank you all for those. I appreciate it. Swing on over to our, you know what would be a great birthday gift? Swing on over to our Patreon and sign up, becoming a subscriber to Big Sexy Digital Nomad. Even if you do it just for 1 month, that would be very helpful. Would appreciate it. Would love to see that kind of support. And again, shout out to everybody supporting us over there. Any information about the Magic Cruise?
We are waiting to get the green light on absolutely every element of it, and there may be a pretty big announcement coming in the next couple of weeks. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to tease it out there because nothing is solidified. You could still contact Chris and Lisa, get your name on the list for when we're not going to officially book it until Carnival gives the green light on all of the performers, because they want to know. I mentioned the bullshit list that I gave and all this other stuff. They are, even though that Carnival has hosted the Bubble Magician Meadow Perry before for another similar setup, it's still a little bit of a pain to get them to greenlight something that they've greenlit before. So until everything is all thumbs up, we're not actually, well, I'm not taking any of the money or any of the bookings. That's all Chris and Lisa. But
You're on Carnival?
On Carnival, yeah.
Did you hear about the brawl on Carnival recently?
Which one?
Right. There was one recently that happened on a Carnival show that there's video footage of.
Yeah. There have been two within the past 2 weeks.
Right. So, guys, book your sailings on Carnival and pack your boxing gloves.
And if you want to know about a cruise line that's less likely to have a brawl breakout,
cruisehabit.com, bitches.
Yeah.
Go there. Yeah, definitely check out cruisehabit.com/bigsexy, and they will hip you to all the awesome cruise lines and all that kind of stuff. All right, y'all. Well, thanks again for listening, for tuning in. Be sure to write us, message us, hit us up on all the social medias. And in the meantime, safe travels.